episode of
Breaking Down the Deck.
Yes, it's one of our favorite segments, and
I
we love
think
breaking
so, yeah.
down our decks and just showing you what fun cards we have in our deck. Today, I have something real special.
Oh yeah, I think actually I've never seen someone actually build this deck, so I'm really excited to see this deck.
Yeah, up until when we are recording this, I haven't seen anyone play this deck actually, but someone probably is, I just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But I will be breaking down my monogreen energy Nissa deck.
What?
Yeah, so...
You mean the actually monogreen Nissa energy deck?
Yes.
With an Alphabar there?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I saw this card, the Nissa card, and I don't know, I just fell in love. I had like a epiphany moment, and I was like, this is my new deck. This is my new commander. I have to build this. I have to make it work. I've never played with energy before, so this was the first time I was gonna build an energy deck. But
wow.
I felt confident, and I've been having fun so far.
Well, it's great. The most important thing that you should have fun.
Yeah, exactly. And I will also be playing my Nissa deck in an upcoming Ether Drift special. What? On our channel. So yeah, you have to check out the deck tag and you have to check out our upcoming Ether Drift episode, of course.
Oh yes.
Yes, lots of fun. But yeah, because I can read her. So, Nissa Worldsoul Speaker. 3 colorless, 1 green. She's an elf druid. Landfall. Whenever land you control enters, you get 2 energy. Simple. You may pay 8 energy rather than pay the mana cost for permanent spells you cast. So here, I was thinking, okay, I think I'm gonna use this to somehow cheat out big creatures. I want to do that. And I quickly want to gain energy. So I will show you exactly how I do that.
Yeah, that's kind of sick actually.
Yeah, so let's check out my deck. Okay, so here we have Energy Nissa. All she cares about is getting energy. And whenever land I control enters, I get 2 energy. And I may pay 8 energy rather than pay the mana cost for permanent spells I cast. So my idea is basically to use the energy to cheat out really big creatures. And to have as much land and mana as I can to just do basically anything I want and overwhelm my opponents with big creatures, give them trample, and just win with damage. So yeah, let's see which creatures I have in my deck. So first, I'm going to reveal the creatures that give me some type of energy whenever they do something or enter or attack. So we'll see which ones they are. So the first one is the Rampaging Etherhood. It's a Snake Hydra for 4 colors, 1 green. It's Trample, Ward 2. And at the beginning of my upkeep, I get an amount of energy equal to this creature's power. And then I may pay 1 or more energy. If I do, I put that many +1 counters on this creature. So it can get big, really big. And then we have a Pima Trailblazer for 2 colorless and a green. It's an elephant warrior. It has trample. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, I get that many energy. Exhaust. I pay 6 energy and I put 2 +1 counters on this creature. Then draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. It's a good way to draw some cards. Then we have Aetherwind Basker, so 4 colorless and 3 green. It's a lizard with trample, and whenever this creature enters or attacks, I get an energy counter for each creature I control. And I can pay 1 energy, and this one gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. Then we have the Bristling Hydra. You know, Hydras are really good with the energy and also just good at getting counters and getting big. So 2 colorless and 2 green. When Bristling Hydra enters the battlefield, I get 3 energy. I can pay 3 energy and put that +1 counter on Bristling Hydra, and it gains hexproof until end of turn. In case someone wants to remove it, I can quickly pay and have it on my battlefield. Then we have the Long Tusk Cub. I really like this one. It's 1 colorless and 1 green. It's a cat. And whenever it deals combat damage to player, I get 2 energy. I can pay 2 energy to put a +1 counter on Long Tusk Cub. So it can potentially grow and grow and grow. And it's good to get this out early when people do not have that many blockers. So hopefully you can do some damage. And then we have Pima Ether Seer. 3 colors and 1 green. It's an elf druid. And when this creature enters, I get an amount of energy equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. So the bigger creature I have out on the battlefield, the better. I can pay 3 energy and target creature blocks this turn if able. So I can force an opponent's creature to block and get rid of it. So that's really good. Then we have the Greenbelt Rampager. For 1 green, it's an elephant. And when it enters the battlefield, I can pay 2 energy. But if I can't, I return this to my hand and I get an energy. So the best thing for this is to do it on like turn 1, because you won't be able to pay and then you get energy and then you can do it again and you still won't be able to pay. And then at least you have 2 energy from this. And then we have the Architect of the Untamed. For 2 colors and a green, it's an elf artificer druid. It has landfall. So whenever a land you control enters, I get an energy. And I can pay 8 energy and create a 6/6 colorless beast artifact creature token. So imagine this when Nissa is out. So whenever a land enters, I get 2 energy from Nissa, 1 from this. So 3 energy per land. That's really good. And my final creature that gives me some sort of energy is the Servant of the Conduit. For 1 colorless and 1 green, when this creature enters, I get 2 energy. I can pay 1 energy and add 1 mana of any color. So a little energy mana dork. Okay, those are my creatures that give me some sort of energy advantage. Now we go to my just regular creatures. Starting from the smaller ones, all the way up to my big bombs. Okay, so first we have a Groundskeeper. Not Groundskeeper Willy, but just Groundskeeper. For 1 green, it's a human druid. For 1 colorless and a green, I can return basic land card from my graveyard to my hand. That is really good to get my lands back, so I have even more triggers and lands to play. Here is a Scaled Herbalist. For 1 colorless and 1 green, it's a lizard druid, and I may put a land card from my hand onto the battlefield. So that is just really, really good. Then we have one of my favorite cards in my entire deck, which is Loot, Exuberant Explorer. For 2 colorless and a green, it's a Beast Noble. And I may play an additional land on each of my turns, and you know how important that is to keep hitting my energy and just getting it out, getting more lands out. And for 4 colorless and 2 green, I can look at the top 6 cards of my library. I may reveal a creature card with mana value less than or equal to the number of lands I control from among them and just put it onto the battlefield. And I put the rest on the bottom in any order. So this is another way to cheat out big creatures, because I will have a lot of land, so I can get out really big creatures and just put it on the battlefield with Loot and play an additional land. So yeah, very good value. And then we have the Fanatic of Ronas. For 1 colorless and 1 green, it's a Snake Druid. I can add 1 green, but it has Ferocious. So I can add 4 green, but I can only activate it if I control a creature with power 4 or greater. Unfortunately, Nissa is only a power 3, but there are ways I can put counters on her as well. But since I will have big creatures hopefully out pretty quickly, this will be fantastic. It has Eternalize for 2 colors and 2 green. I can exile this card from my graveyard and create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 4/4 black zombie snake, druid with no mana cost. I can only do it as a sorcery. Then we have Jade Light Ranger. 1 colorless and 2 green. It's a Merfolk Scout, and when it enters the battlefield, it explores, then it explores again. So I reveal the top card of my library, I put that card into my hand if it's a land, otherwise I put a +1 counter on this creature, and then put the card back or put it in my graveyard. So I get a lot of value no matter what happens. And then we have the Timeless Witness. When it enters the battlefield, I return target card from my graveyard to my hand. Because people, they want to get rid of my big stuff, big creatures, so I can just get something back to my hand. It has Eternal Eyes for 5 colorless and 2 green. I will also be able to create a token copy of it. But it's also a 4/4 black zombie human shaman with no mana costs. Then, to get even more lands out, I have the Sad Robot, the Stolen Simulacrum, for 4 colorless, golden, and when it enters, I may search my library for a basic land card. And put that card onto the battlefield tapped and shuffle, and when it dies, I draw a card. And then we have the Pothole Mole. It's 2 colorless and a green. It's a mole. When this creature enters, I mill 3 cards. And then I may return a land card from my graveyard to your hand, so it's good value because I have cards that will bring back stuff from the graveyard, lands, creatures. So milling is also a good way to fill up my graveyard to have some even more value. Then we have the Druid of Purification. It's 3 colorless, 1 green. It's a human druid. And when it enters, starting with me, each player may choose an artifact or enchantment that I don't control and destroy each permanent chosen this way. So it's a good thing to get rid of a lot of my opponent's stuff, especially if they have like very tricky enchantments or good value artifacts that I want to get rid of. So this is a good way, while still keeping my stuff. Then we have the Ramunap Excavator. 2 colorless, 1 green. I may play land cards from my graveyard. I mean, amazing. Just sacking lands, getting them back. Sacking them, it's great value. Then we have Splinter Fright. So now we're on to creatures that can possibly get big. So this is 2 colorless, 1 green elemental with trample. Its power and toughness are equal to the number of creature cards in my graveyard. So at the beginning of my upkeep, I mill 2 cards. So milling is another way to put big creatures in my graveyard to make this one big. Then we have Naya Soul Beast for 6 colorless and 2 green. It has trample, it's a beast. And when I cast it, each player reveals the top card of his or her library. Naya Soul Beast enters the battlefield with X+1 counters on it, where X is the total converted mana cost of all cards revealed this way. So that is why I say could potentially be big. Could potentially also be small. Like 1, in worst case 0 if everyone is a land, then it's scary. But it can also be very big. So it is a bit of a gamble with that one, but it's a fun gamble. Then we have the Nyxborn Hydra. X colors and 1 green. So it has Bestow for X and 2 green. And if you cast this card for its Bestow cost, it's an aura spell with enchant creature. It becomes a creature again if it's not attached. It has Reach, Trample. And it ends the battlefield with X+1 counters on it. Enchant the creature gets +X for each +1 counter on Nyxborn Hydra and its Reach and Trample. So yeah, if I have a lot of mana available, this can get so big, and especially if I bestow it. It will be crazy, especially with the trample. And then we have Kona, Rescue Bestie, for 3 colors and a green. So it's a beast survivor. It has survival. At the beginning of my second main phase, if Kona, Rescue Beastie, is tapped, I may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. So another way to cheat out big creatures. Then we have Anara, Wolvit Familiar, for 3 colors and a green. It's a wolf beast. As long as it's my turn, commanders you control have indestructible. It also have partners. So it's good to protect my Nissa when it's my turn, or something when I attack, if I attack with Nissa. Then we have the Fecund Green Shell for 3 colors and 2 green. It's an elemental turtle. It has reach. And as long as I control 10 or more lands, creatures I control get +2/+2. And when this creature or another creature I control with toughness greater than its power enters, I may look at the top card of my library. If it's a land card, I may put it onto the battlefield tapped. Otherwise, put it into your hand. So another good way to bring out more lands. Get my creatures to be even bigger, especially when a lot of them have trample. Then we have Titania, Protector of Argoth. 3 colors and 2 green. It's an elemental, and when she enters the battlefield, I return target land card from my graveyard to the battlefield. Amazing. And then, whenever land you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, I create a 5/3 green elemental creature token. So there's so much value with this card. And then we have the Shifting Ceratops. For 2 colors and 2 green, it's a dinosaur. This spell can't be countered. It has protection from blue. So if a blue player wants to counter or do anything, nope, it stays. For green, Shifting Ceratops gains your choice of reach, trample, or haste until end of turn. So it's good that I can pick, depending on the situation. Then we have the Verdant Sun's Avatar. For 5 colors and 2 green, it's a dinosaur avatar. Whenever this dinosaur or another creature enters the battlefield under my control, I gain life equal to that creature's toughness. So, gains me life in case I would need it. So it's always good. Then we have the Wayward Swordtooth Ascend. If I control 10 or more permanents, you get the City's Blessing for the rest of the game. I may play an additional land on each of my turns, but it can't attack or block unless I have the City's Blessing. But I think with all of my landfall shenanigans, I will have the blessing pretty quickly. Then the Sky Sight Engulfer for 5 colors, 1 green. It's a Phyrexian beast with reach and trample, but it can't be blocked by creatures with flying. Then we have the Galewind Moose. So it's 4 colors and 2 green. It's an elemental elk. It has flash, vigilant, reach, trample. So with Nissa's ability that I can pay 8 rather than pay the mana cost, I can just flash this in even if I have no mana available but I have energy. I can just flash this in whenever I want. It has vigilance, reach, trample. Yeah. Then we have the Flourishing Hunter. 4 colors and 2 green. Wolf Spirit. When it enters the battlefield, I gain life equal to the greatest toughness among other creatures you control. So I can potentially gain a lot of life. Then we have the Elder Gargaroth. 3 colors, 2 green. It's a beast. Vigilance, reach, trample, and whenever it attacks or blocks, I can choose one. I can create a 3/3 green beast creature token. I can gain 3 life, or I can draw a card. I love when we can choose different things depending on the situation. Then we have Kodama of the East Tree. It's 4 colors and 2 green. It's a spirit, has reach, and whenever another permanent you control enters, if it wasn't put onto the battlefield with this ability, I may put a permanent card with equal or lesser mana value from your hand onto the battlefield. Another way to just cheat out things. Very good. Here we have the Ravenous Lindworm. 4 colors and 2 green. It's a worm, and when it enters the battlefield, I gain 4 life. Pretty simple, straightforward. Then we have, technically this is a vehicle, but it can be a creature. This is a Earth Rumbler, 4 colors and 1 green. So, artifact vehicle, vigilance, trample. But I can exile an artifact or creature card from your graveyard. And this vehicle becomes an artifact creature until the end of turn, so I accrue 3. Then we have the Spinewood's Armadillo. 4 colors, 2 green. It's an armadillo with reach, ward 3. For 1 colors and 1 green, I can discard this and search my library for a basic land card or a desert card, reveal it, put it into my hand, then shuffle, and I gain 3 life. Then we have the last really big bomb, which is the Terrastodon. For 6 colors, 2 mana, it's an elephant, and when it enters the battlefield, I may destroy up to 3 target non-creature permanents. For each permanent put into a graveyard this way, its controller creates a 3/3 green elephant creature token. So imagine if I somehow can bring this back and just get the ETB trigger many times. Really good. And then we have arrived to the GOAT of my deck. You know, the real GOAT card in my deck. And it is an actual GOAT, so it's Pathbreaker Ibex. 4 colorless and 2 green, said GOAT. And whenever this creature attacks, creatures I control gain trample and get +X until end of turn, where X is the greatest power among creatures I control. And this is the card that wins me the game. Such a good card. Everything grows, everything is trample, everyone should be afraid. Okay, so those were my creatures. Now we're moving on to some sorceries. Starting with 1 sorcery that gives me energy. Attune with Ether. Search my library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into my hand, and shuffle. You get 2 energy. So with Nissa also, get 4 energy. Then we have Cultivate. 2 colors, 1 green. Search my library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal those cards, put one to the battlefield tapped, and the other one into my hand. You know, I need to get lands somehow. Then we have Overrun. For 2 colors, 3 green. Creatures you control get +3 and gain trample until end of turn, making them even bigger. Then I have Explosive Vegetation. 3 colors, 1 green. I search my library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle. Then we have Terramorph. 3 colors, 1 green. Search my library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. It has Rebound. So if you cast a spell from your hand, exile it as it resolves. At the beginning of my next upkeep, I may cast this card from exile without paying its mana cost. And then Splendid Reclamation. 3 colors, 1 green. Return all land cards from my graveyard to the battlefield tap. That's amazing, especially if I mill things. I sacrifice lands. Yeah. And then we have some enchantments. Very few, only 2. But the first one is Blanchwood Armor. For 2 colors and 1 green. I can enchant creature. An enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each forest I control. Spoiler, I control many forests in this deck, hopefully. But I have a lot of forests. So I can, potentially one-shot someone. And then one-shot someone again next turn. And then next turn, so yeah. Then we have Primal Prayers. For 2 colors and 2 green. When it enters the battlefield, I get 2 energy. And I may cast creature spells with mana value 3 or less by paying energy rather than paying their mana costs. So if you cast a spell this way, you may cast it as though it had flash. Really good. Cheating out some lower costing creatures and can cheat them out as flash. Instant speed. Then we have some instants. I have Respite. So creatures deal no combat damage this turn, gain 1 life for each attacking creatures. Because people, they will be coming for me. So I need to have at least some protection, some fog. And then I gain life for it as well. Then we have Crop Rotation. For just 1 green. As an additional cost to cast Crop Rotation, I sacrifice a land. Perfect. I search my library for a land card and put that onto the battlefield. Then shuffle your library. Perfect. Imagine doing this, bringing this back. Doing this, bring that. Really good. Okay, and then I need some protection for Nissa or another big creature. It's Overprotect. For 1 colorless and 1 green. Target creature control gets +3, gains trample, hexproof, and indestructible until end of turn. I really love this card. I have it in all my green decks. Then we have some artifacts. The first one is the classic Soul Ring. Gives me 2 colorless mana for 1 colorless mana. And then we have the Panharmonicon for 4 colorless artifact. If an artifact or creature entering causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to triggered, that ability triggers an additional time. So, double the triggers. And then we have Bootlegger's Stash for 5 colorless and 1 green. Lands you control have, tap, create a treasure token. Imagine I have a lot of unused mana in someone's end step. I just tap all of that and create Wow, so much treasure tokens. Just extra mana. Okay, now we go to the artifacts that produces some sort of energy or helps with that. And here we have Solar Transformer, 2 colors. When it enters the battlefield, it enters tapped. When it enters the battlefield, I get 3 energy. I can add 1 colorless, or I can pay 1 energy and add 1 mana of any color. Then we have the Etherworks Marble for 4 colors. Whenever a permanent you control is put into a graveyard, I get an energy. So if something for me dies, I still benefit from it. I can pay 6 energy, I can look at the top 6 cards of my library. I may cast a spell from among them without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of my library in a random order. And then we have, yes, Aetherflux Conduit for 6 colors. Whenever I cast a spell, I get an amount of energy equal to the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. I can pay 50 energy and draw 7 cards, and I may cast any number of spells from among your hand without paying the mana cost. Yeah, so I mean, just casting spells without paying for them, love it. Then we go to my lands. So I think I counted 33 or 34 forests. Yeah, they just look like this. Oh, here's a beautiful one. And here's a funny one. But then I will go show you my special lands. Okay. So firstly, we have the Helios 1. You can add a colorless, and for 1, I can get an energy. For 3, I can pay X amount of energy, sacrifice this one, destroy target non-land permanent with mana value X. I can activate it only as a sorcery though. Then we have a Misty Rainforest. I can pay 1 life, sacrifice it, I search my library for a forest or island card, put it onto the battlefield, and then I shuffle. Promising Vein. It's okay, I can add colors. Or for 1, I can sacrifice it and search my library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Then we have the Escape Tunnel. I can sacrifice it, search my library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Or I can sacrifice it and target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. Then we have the Blighted Woodland. I can add colorless, but for 3 and a green, I can sacrifice it and search my library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. And then we have Myriad Landscape. Add colorless or pay 2, and I can sacrifice it and search my library for up to 2 basic land cards that share a land type, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Then we have Terramorphic Expense. I can sacrifice it, search my library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Then we have Evolving Wilds. I can search my library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped when I sacrifice this, and then shuffle. And then I come to my last land. It's a Shire Terrace. Add colorless, pay 1, I can sacrifice it and search my library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. So, as you noticed, a lot of lands that I can just sacrifice, hopefully get it back from my graveyard, and just do that a lot to get a lot of energy. But yeah, this is my mono green energy Nissa deck. Let me know what you think about it. And I am also thinking about putting in, of course, more cards that will let me play more lands each turn, like Azusa and cards like that. But yeah, if you have any tips, just let me know. And I am sure that I will be upgrading this deck a lot during the upcoming months. But I've been playing with it for a couple of times and I've been really enjoying it. And you will also see me play this in an upcoming episode on our channel, of course. But yeah, thank you. Yeah, so welcome back. I just showed you my deck and I hope you enjoyed it and had fun. I had fun going through my deck again. And you're like, oh, I like this creature. Oh, this creature. But yeah, as you saw, I have a lot of big creatures. Some have really fun abilities and I can get energy pretty quickly with the sacrificing of lands, bringing them back from the graveyards and
do that landfall shenanigans. But Nissa is really sick, yo. Not only she have a landfall, you get energy from that, or 2 energy, 2 energy.
And you
Why
saw
not?
I have another card. Whenever a land enters, I get 1 more energy. So
Yeah.
I can
3
potentially
energy?
3 energy just when a land enters.
And that's really sick because you stockpile on energy.
Mm-hmm.
You use the energy to shit out big creatures. Not only that, you have like you save your mana to have protection from your
Yes.
creature for whatever it happens. Not only that, why not play 2 big bombs at the same turn?
Exactly.
Because you can use the energy to cheat out a creature
Exactly.
and have used the mana to play out another big bomb.
Yeah.
It's then we have like the board statement like, okay, she's gonna win because she have all these huge creatures on the board, mono green, gonna to go with the game.
Yeah, and also giving them trample in a lot of different ways.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, use the energy, cheat out the creatures, use some of my mana to regular land mana to cheat out creatures, but also keep the mana open for interaction, of course.
Yeah.
To protect my creatures and stuff like that. So, the
It's
energy
just-
does a good job.
The energy
Bring
does
the
a good
creatures
job.
out.
I remember we actually was playing our local LGS yesterday, and you actually played this deck.
I did.
Surprisingly, you just run us over with the energy, the landfall. We were like,
That was crazy.
we were stunned. We're like, oh, don't worry, guys. I have answer for that big creature. It come next big creature. Oh, okay. Maybe I do. Oh no, I give even more big creatures. Guys, I'm just responsible for 1.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was slaughter.
Yeah, I just wanted to show everyone that mono green energy Nissa works. You can do it. So if I can do it, you can do it. So I'm hoping some of you might want to build your own mono green energy Nissa deck, but maybe in a different way. Who knows?
Yeah, actually, like we said at the beginning of this video, I never seen nobody actually play with these mono green Nissa energy decks. Let us know if you know somebody,
Yes. Or if you
yourself you
do
could
or
play
want
that.
to.
Yeah, because we watching all the YouTube comments, all the YouTube channels, all the big channels, stuff like that. We have not seen no one with that, so we actually want to, for the record, how you want to build if you build Nissa, how would you build Nissa?
Exactly.
Yeah.
How would you do it? Let us know. And also let us know, as I said in my breaking down the deck segment, if there's any specific cards you would recommend or take out, let me know. I'm open for suggestions because, as I said, I will be upgrading this, upgrading, changing. I will have fun with it. But yeah, so that was my Nissa deck.
Crazy.
Yeah. So don't miss our Ether Drift coming up.
Exactly. It will be so energized.
Oh, yes. Yeah, but see you at the next one.
Bye.